this is Lakshmi with Raju. So I want to take a class for micro engineering subject, the last unit, micro measurement unit topic. So this unit covers only measurement part of all the parameters of the microwave signals. So generally at low frequencies it is very convenient to measure either voltage or current. So these two parameters can be found using either CROs, cathode oscilloscopes, or maybe multimeters, or maybe some other meters, direct meters, analog meters or digital meters. But we can't measure the power directly. So using those two parameters only you can measure the voltage and current. So where at a microwave frequency these are very difficult, since these are vary with the position in the transmission lines. But power can be measured directly at microwave frequency is very simpler, and some other parameters. The following parameters conveniently can be measured at microwave frequencies, but these are not possible at low frequency components. So since the low frequency components are based on the Kirchhoff's voltage and current laws, so these two parameters, using these two parameters we can measure remaining parameters of power, attenuation, impedance, like that. But in at microwave frequencies, so many parameters like frequency, power, attenuation, VSWR value, voltage standing wave ratio, phase, impedance, insertion loss, non-dielectric constant, noise factor can be measured very easily. So for all these components it requires some special bench setup. This is the bench setup, general bench setup. So it needs one special power supply, DC power supply, depending upon, this is the microwave source, depending upon type of microwave source. So we are utilizing different types of power supplies. So if it is a reflex klystron tube 2K25 type of microwave source, it is a reflex klystron power supply. If it is a gun diode source, microwave source, it needs gun power supply. So generally this microwave source generates electromagnetic waves of within the range of 1 GHz to 1000 GHz range, but it is useful only for transmission of information for a far distance through microwave bench components, or maybe through free space. So this is the information signal, whatever the signal we are going to transmit using a carrier microwave signal here, that is connected here. Completely we are called as one microwave signal source. So then it is connected to one isolator or a pad. This isolator is a device, already we have discussed. This isolator unidirectional component, this is an isolator unidirectional component. So in the forward directed signal only it allows, like this flowing signal only it allows, and opposite signal which is coming from this point in this way, this is absorbs all the power. So to eliminate the any reflections we are getting due to unmatched load at the end point, so those reflections are eliminated here. Next one is frequency meter. This meter is used to measure the frequency of microwave range. So next one is attenuator, to reduce the power level to the next stage. This is the slotted line. This slotted line is used to measure so many parameters like guide wavelength, VSWR value, reflection coefficient, unknown impedance value, and power. Using this crystal detector, which is a tunable probe, this crystal detector, and the crystal detector is connected to this different types of measuring units, VSWR meter or multimeter or CRO. So all these parameters can be using this general bench setup. So now this is the slotted line. This slotted line is used for very much useful for measure various parameter. The slotted line, in this spot tunable probe is connected. The slotted line has a scale to measure distances, to find guide wavelength, like this. This is the tunable probe. This tunable probe is placed here, and this is the detector mount. End of this path we are connecting to measure power. This is the VSWR meter to measure various VSWR values, power values, using this gain and fine controls and some other controlling units. This is the frequency meter. Using this frequency meter we can measure direct frequency reading. So it has a scale. By changing this probe, this position of this knob, we can change the scale value. So if the incoming frequency or outgoing frequency through this frequency meter indicating frequency reading values are same, then it absorbs some power. It has two cavities. This is cylindrical in shape. So now it absorbs some power when if the meter indicating range frequency is equal to flowing frequency, then output signal value disturbs, then we can identify that is the frequency which is flowing through this meter, and that is the generated frequency of microwave source. Like using this scale we can directly measure the going frequency using dip method. So the main parameters of this microwave signal is power measurement is very important. Voltage standing wave ratio is important. The power measurement is differentiated with three types. We can generally measure using three methods. Low power, that is up to 10 milliwatt from 0.1 to not 1 milliwatt, 10 milliwatt using bolometer technique. Second type is medium power, 10 to 10 milliwatt to 10 watt, calorimeter technique, and some other method is calorimeter wattmeter method up to 10 watts, above 10 watts. So using measurement of low power using bolometer technique is, so bolometer nothing but it is a thermocouple technique device. For this device the resistance is changed by means of power only. In general there are two types of bolometers. First one is barometers, second one is thermistors. So barometers having a positive temperature coefficient, so means if temperature increases resistance also changes. So resistance increases, positive temperature coefficient delta R by delta T equal to positive. So in case of thermistors, these are negative temperature coefficient. So if temperature increases, resistance decreases. The device bolometer is just like one fuse. This is the fuse bolometer. It may be either barometer or thermistor. So it consists of a short length of fuse platinum wire mounted in a case, and this is placed at the end of the waveguide, and wherever the power is supplied for measurement and propagates through the waveguide, and when it reaches to bolometer it absorbs some power and dissipates it, and resistance of this barometer, this is thermistor or barometer, changes. So this, if the bolometer is connected in a bridge, so like this, and the bridge have some galvanometer, and this is connected with the power supply. So now if there is no power, incoming power, it has some resistance R3. Due to this R1, R2, R3, R4, by applying some supply, this galvanometer shows some null deflection. So if the power is supplied through microwave bunch path, then automatically the resistance R3 changes. So now galvanometer value does not show a null deflection. Depending upon the R3 value, it changes, it gives some value. So now by changing the EDC value, again we can set the galvanometer reading to the null deflection. Then the change in the value of supply EDC with the previous one E1 gives the power value. So like that we can measure the power. Otherwise this galvanometer can be used as directly frequency power reading. So by changing the power value without power and with power through to the bolometer gives the difference between these two values, gives the power variation. So like that we can measure the power. So but it has some limitation. That limitations are, we can measure up to 10 milliwatts power. So if you want to increase the power measurement, then we can go through only directional coupler measurement method. So this is the directional coupler measurement method. So this is the directional coupler, this is the forward director, this is port 1 and port 2 primary ports, this is auxiliary port. These two ports are isolated ports, these two ports are isolated ports, but we have a coupling factor between 1 and 4 and 2 and 3. If you are giving the microwave power in this direction, only some sample power is coupled here. This depending upon number of volts coupled power we are getting. So if it is 110th time, 10% of total power which is ampled, then the bolometer is sufficient to measure up to 10 times different value. Therefore we can increase 10 times to 100 times using this directional coupler method. So next one is attenuation method. Attenuation can be measured using power ratio method, or maybe RF substitution method. We can measure the power. So in case of attenuation, is generally attenuation is measured in dBs, that is 20 log input power by output power. Using power ratio method, so this is the Bend setup. So this is the microwave source, pad is there, frequency meter is there, slaughter line is there, match termination is there. So first we have to measure the source power using the general bench setup, crystal detector. These things, note down the value is P1. Now change the setup with whichever the device want to measure attenuation, that is placed in between this slotted line and frequency meter like this. And now the measure power, that is P2. The ratio of this power P1 and P2 gives the attenuation. That is power ratio method. So it has one limitation, that is, so here we are utilizing crystal detector. The place of position of the attenuation material changes, device changes. That's why, since this is a crystal detector, it gives the non-linear characteristics. That's why some error may get. So to eliminate that, RF substitution method is used. So in this case, whatever the device want to measure the attenuation that is placed in between these two, measure the power first. So now replace this device with the variable known precision attenuator. So now until gets the P1 value, the value of variable precision attenuator changes, then the value of variable attenuator gives the value of this device, since this is a known device, variable device. So like that, without changing the position, so we are measuring the power. Therefore it eliminates the limitation of the RF substitution method. Okay.